Hello, 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 Danny.
Oh,
Let me go ahead and pop over to the intro screen real quick. Hello, hi. Um, I know that y'all are probably getting real tired of seeing my crispy ass here, but there's nothing I can do because the light is behind me. So I'm gonna continue to be crispy and dark, because there's not enough light. Um, but Danny, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right.
You excited that that Guardian Games is over and that we're getting season the next season of the Deep coming up?
Sounds like a lot of fun is coming next season.
Yeah. Now the what is specifically the release date again for next season?
I think it's Tuesday.
Yeah, that's what I thought because I know that the next Tuesday is the end of this season. Now sometimes they will end the season a little early, like they did. What was it? I think it was Season of Arrivals actually. They
Yeah,
technically ended the season like a month before Beyond Light, which kind of weird, but they have done it in the past, so I wouldn't put it past them to do it again. My chair was really far back. Whoops. Um, so, but I mean that was at the end of this. That was at the end of the expansion, so that makes a little bit more sense. We don't have a lot of crazy stuff today to kind of go over, do we?
not really. They just basically go over a lot of stuff that they've already gone over in past blogs and other stuff that we've already talked about.
All right, then you know what? Let's just get right into it, Danny. Coming in hot. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Trials of Casuals podcast. So skipping last week's topics, we're going to hop straight into the new topics, and that is going to be an overview of all major changes coming with Season 21, a first look at the three new strand aspects, an in-depth preview of the seasonal artifact, an update to how enemy shields look, a note from the engineering team, updated standings of the Guardian Games and Guardian Games Cup, introducing Asians at Bungie, and the new Twitch bounty emblem. So, TLDR of the list of season 21 changes. A couple of things are going to be going on. And there's, again, we've mostly gone over this. So if you do want to scour through all of our old videos, please go check them out in the YouTube channel. But we'll just kind of like try to TLDR these the best that we can. Basically, economy updates. We're going to be seeing legendary shards are no longer required for crafting. The Raoul exotic engram focusing. You can now decrypt or focus exotic engrams with two options, with a tier 1 or tier 2. And then the weapon deep sight activation, there's now a new currency called Deep Sight Harmonizer. Just kind of things that kind of help basically mainstream it. Seeing that we lost a lot of the mats, the worldly mats, has kind of made our lives a little bit easier in terms of getting just gear in general, and basically just making it legendary shards, enhancement cores, and glimmer. Um, which I do actually want to talk about for a minute, Danny, since this TWAB is relatively short. Because I have noticed, I don't know if you felt it, but I've felt like that I've gained a lot more legendary shards and enhancement cores, but also feel like I've also been using a lot more legendary shards and enhancement cores.
I feel like that's just like new season, new power level jump feel. With next season not having a power level jump, I feel like that's just probably gonna even out.
Yeah, and as a reminder, there will be no new power level next season, as they're kind of doing a part two of season one, to basically bring in more story for Lightfall overall. So we'll see a little bit more about that as we kind of go longer. Along with
Yeah.
that, weapon sandbox tuning. Specifically, they're bringing in a couple special things, such as special reticles that better represent perks and different firing patterns that some gums may have. Along with that, they're also going to be doubling down on field of view for fusion rifles, hand cannons, sidearms, and trace rifles, as well as very special ones for several exotics, including Devil Ruin's Charge Shot and Lumina's Noble Rounds as examples of that. There's also some exotic weapons that are going to be receiving buffs, such as World Line Zero, exotics that are going to be receiving reworks, such as Salvation's Grip, and some nerfs, which unfortunately one of them is going to be Thunderlords. And then a couple damage fixes, such as Winter's Bite.
I can actually go over these real quick.
That would be perfect. Now, Worldline Zero, I kind of understand. Most people really haven't been using it, which is a shame because it's a super fun niche sword.
The reason people haven't been using it is because its whole thing is kind of you can get it in a legendary sword, and yeah, it's like
yeah, Eager Edge, baby, Eager Edge.
Yep. But let's see. Pull this up real quick. The things that have been changed.
I am curious about Salvation's Grip and how they're reworking it, because I'm gonna be honest, it's fucking useless.
Oh, they gave it some good love. So
I was about to say, because the only thing that I remember it being used for at all in the past like 6 months, is to get out of bounds.
Yeah, we'll start with this list here of all the exotic changes. Eyes of Tomorrow's multi-target missile volley is being adjusted to where if you get 4 kills with a missile volley, it will refund 1 ammo.
That's pretty solid. Though, did it really need that?
For like PvE content, yes.
Because
it was kind of pointless to get 4 kills with it and then have to reload to actually use this perk with Rocket's ammo economy.
That's fair. That makes sense.
Graviton Lance is getting adjusted to be more like Revision Zero's heavy 2-round burst. So its RPM is being bumped up from 257 to 300.
Hold on, is that the link that's... Hold on, do you have a link for this?
It's the, yeah. It was the article they popped up, yesterday?
The weapon preview article that went live yesterday?
Yeah, like...
So if I click this, it'll just send me to that?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I would actually like to... Oh, shit, nope. Nope. Well...
I skipped over the other changes just to go down to the exotics, because the other ones are like, eh.
Alright, let me take a look at these. Right, fusion rifles hanging. Here we go. Okay, that way I can actually show it on screen.
They rebalance the damage per shot, so the body shot damage from 9.5 to 19, and crit from 15.7 to 31.4 on the first shot, and the second shot down from 35.6 to 25.6. And crit from 58.7 to 42.3. Basically kind of just evening it out between the two. So, a lot more consistency with Graviton.
Yeah, I'm also seeing Jade Rabbit getting a buff.
Yep. They've added the text to show you when Fate of All Fools is actually working, and quickly hitting 3 crits refunds 3 shots instead of 1.
So, infinite ammo.
It's pretty good. If you can land crits, you don't have to reload ever.
I really want to see its boss damage usage now. I don't know if it's going to be used, but that's pretty solid.
Yeah, and the Manticore is getting a buff, so they're increasing the damage resistance from tier 3 damage resistance to tier 4, and increasing the movement speed while you're floating. So it's kind of nice. Plus, it will automatically partially refill the magazine when its perk activates.
Which is through an airborne kill or sustained damage following an airborne kill. Which...
It's pretty nice.
That's solid. Luminous cap on noble rounds was 5. While working on exotic weapon reticles, we opted to match Ace of Spades Memento Mori shot. So basically they bumped it up from 5 to 6 as its noble rounds. Okay.
Yeah. Not a huge one. Heart Shadow.
That's the bow, right?
It's the sword you get from I think it's from Duality.
Oh yeah. That's the Duality one. So let's see. They increase damage increases now activates quicker while invisible after 0.25 seconds instead of 1 second. That's good. And then it now weakens upon dealing any damage while the damage increase is active. That's kind of nuts.
It's like it kind of needed it because
it's kind of ass tier.
It's really situational. Like, unless you were a hunter spamming invisible dodge or melees that didn't really have any synergy with anything.
Also, I love their little quote here for Worldline Zero. We love Worldline Zero's performance, and with all the attention we've been giving swords, we wanted to spend some time really differentiating it from a certain perk on glowing sword dares. So the
Yeah,
sprinting heavy attack can now be chained into itself once. Sword guard energy cost from each sprinting heavy attack is reduced from 100% to 50%, and the increased damage from an individual sprinting heavy attack by 8.3%. That is
pretty nice.
fucking nuts.
Speedrunners are happy, but now we get into the spicy stuff,
All
the
right,
reworks.
that's sweet business here. Oh yeah, that's right, because we've seen this. So basically, it now fires explosive rounds every 20 shots, fewer shots while fully spun up. So
It gets explosive rounds
so
every
base
20
so
shots.
now it's got a 100 ammo clip, doesn't it?
Two, I think.
So in a full clip, it will proc a total of roughly about 10 times with no reload.
Still,
That
and
is
explosive
interesting.
rounds just randomly in there. It's such a silly
I'm
change.
kind of curious as to why, cause Sweet Business got the kinetic primary auto rifle buff recently too. So
Now I get some explosive rounds in there.
that boggles my mind. Um
Acreus increased ammo to 16 and increased projectile distance from 9 meters to 12 meters.
I haven't seen Acreus get used in forever. That might actually legitimately bring it back into a consistent use. Cause 3 meter bonus?
That's huge
That's
for
mass.
Acreus.
That's massive. And
And remember,
the fact that you get more ammo in the clip now, because hold on, doesn't it technically fire multiple shots at once or no?
it fires one. It's incredibly slow, but if you have the catalyst, I think it can hold 6 in the mag.
Okay,
But
still
its
16
rounds
shots.
over penetrate.
That's pretty solid. That's
It's a pretty good buff.
that's good. I see a picture of Tommy's matchbook. What is it
So,
getting?
remember how I said that Tommy's matchbook was going to be kind of nuts after the buff?
It's about to get even nuttier. While overheated, this is from the catalyst, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
The catalyst states, while overheated, sustained fire scorches your target. Every 5 shots applies 14 plus 7 with the Embers of Ashes fragment scorch stacks.
Well,
What?
Tommy's matchbook is going to be able to help with ignitions now.
Oh my god.
It's kind of wild. Not something I was expecting them to add to Tommy's after the auto buff, because it's already in a pretty decent spot if you haven't used Tommy's yet.
Yeah, that's
Pretty good.
that's nuts. I'm happy about that. The no time to explain. The drones. The drone will now work with anti-barrier.
That was pretty funny that it wouldn't, but it also means that there was an issue. Oh, they also found an issue that Feeding Frenzy wasn't working with that either. So now it should be fine.
That's good to hear. Skyburner's Oath is actually getting a buff. It's increasing the scorch stacks from 3 to 5 and 5 to 10 with the Embers of Ashes fragment. That's amazing. I love that. Another gun
And,
that we haven't seen in forever.
and now Salvation's Grip.
All right, let's take a look. So, it's reworked to have 2 firing modes. A charge shot that creates a pattern of stasis crystals where the number of crystals is no longer dependent on charge time. And an uncharged shot is a normal grenade launcher shot, which does more damage to stasis crystals and frozen targets. They've also added a new perk that reloads the magazine from reserves when you quickly shatter at least 3 crystals with the uncharged shot. So, hear me out on this, Danny. Number one, I think that this is a phenomenal change. The fact that they're giving it 2 firing modes, so they still give it its old primary purpose, which is very important. Because if you don't have that, you can't do some of the Beyond Light shit.
And it's also been used to platform if you have a hard time jumping, because you can just use it to make platforms. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, and the fact that that actually makes it really good with a stasis build.
Yep, now it is usable.
Yeah, that's
Like, you're not
Oh my
giving up
God, Danny!
damage to have it equipped.
So remember how last week we talked about Stasis Warlock with Vesper of Radius?
Yep.
Salvation's Grip at your feet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that's disgusting. That feels good. Also, we're gonna see bad juju. Now this is mostly a bug fix. They fixed
Yep.
an issue that was causing the weapon to recoil like an auto rifle, making it harder to control. The recoil pattern will now be similar to other pulse rifles. That's kind of nice.
Good change, because
Bad
to be
juju's still
honest,
kind of ass though.
I've I've been playing on PC, so I've been using it a lot, and it feels pretty nice.
Well, yeah, I'm
After
probably on
the
PC,
buff.
because us pleb console gamers don't get.
Uh,
We're the reason. Console gamers are the reason why Crimson got nerfed in the first place.
It's really true. Crimson though, I'm gonna be honest. Like after these primary buffs, Crimson and Bad Juju feel
Oh yeah.
pretty good, because Bad Juju also ramps up the string of curses, and it gives you super energy back really fast. Plus, you can run a kinetic siphon mod and make orbs every time you get a kill with it.
Oh, there you go.
It's kind of nutty.
Oh, Fighting Lion actually had a bug fix. They fixed an issue that was causing this weapon to do more damage than intended to red bar combatants. You know what the crazy part is? While I was playing Supremacy, I actually saw someone use Fighting Lion. I was low-key impressed. I was like, damn, they really had to go into the vault for that one.
In PvE, the thing that it was doing, it was hitting red bars for 140k. It's not supposed to be hitting them for 140k.
I would love for it to continue to hit for 140k.
It would be nice, but it's not supposed to do that. Thunderlords is really, really situational, so it's not nerfing it overall. It's just specifically its interaction with Divinity Bubbles.
Well, and it seemed to be more of a bug. They fixed an issue basically where if you had Thunderlord and you were hitting something that had been divinitied, it would count as 2 crits, not 1.
Yep.
That's a lot of damage. If you really unload a whole clip.
That is also part of the reason why Thunderlord was melting bosses really fast, because people were using Div and it was glitching it out.
There you go. And then Winter's Bite. The impact damage has been removed and has now been redistributed to the detonation damage. The self-damage scaling has been attuned to account for the increased damage of the detonation. I'm glad that they stated that specifically and that it does that now, because I had a feeling that if they didn't do that, Guardians were going to be killing themselves on it a lot.
So I found out very quickly that Winter Bite can in fact kill you with your own projectiles from it.
Yeah.
It's not a pleasant experience when you're trying to do a DPS phase and you see Killed by the Architects pop up.
Yeah, we've all been there. Now moving on to perks. And these are going to be just gun perks in general. So, Fragile Focus. The bonus now lasts until the shield is popped, and then returns when shields regenerate to 100%. Thresh, Demolitionist, and Pugilist are getting a quick fix. Basically, they are increasing energy on shotgun, fusion rifle, and sniper reticles, but glaives missed out on it. So now they are granting increased energy to glaive projectile kills, which will now be the same as it was with shotguns, FRs, and snipers.
Which is good, because with those other weapons, it takes like 2 to 3 kills. Whereas the glaives, it took like 5.
Yeah.
So now that's good.
Reconstruction is getting a quick look at. Basically, what they're doing is they have a slight change to the timing of the perk, where the initial timer and the cooldown timer between reloads have been unified. The base perk now has 4 seconds, and the enhanced perk is 3.5. We'll take that. Shoot to loot. Now, we have seen this, and this is going to be very interesting. They've now allowed Shoot to loot to be able to pick up orbs of power. So if you ever had an orb of power roll off the map, have no fear. You can just yoink and bring it right back to you. And this only works on direct hits. The ability for the orbs to be picked up with weapon detonations will be added in a future patch. which is wild to think about. So if you have explosive payload on a gun with shoot to loot, it will proc on the ground, so you don't have to hit it directly if you have explosive payload.
Yep,
That's
it's gonna be
pretty.
pretty nice.
That's
I'm
pretty funny to be honest.
also kind of wondering if like Firefly or Dragonfly detonations will also work with that, because that would be fantastic.
I don't. So here's my issue: is that shoot to loot is designed to be done like on the ground. So I
Yep,
don't know because Firefly is designed as a headshot perk, not as a ground perk.
it does have quite a decent AOE though.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll definitely have to see. That'd be cool. But I feel like that would also put a little too much power on Firefly. It's already like one of the better damage perks in the game right now.
I would be kind of for it, to be honest, though, because there's not that many weapons that have rolled with it in recent updates.
That is true. I mean, you know what I'd love to see though, Danny? Uh I would love to see a I think it has to be what was the Dares of Eternity trace rifle? What is that damn thing called?
Oh, I know what you mean, but
Yeah,
that one has like
cuz it has
incandescent.
shoot to loot on it. Now
Yeah,
imagine if it had Firefly.
doesn't it have like incandescent though?
No, cuz I think it's a void weapon.
Is that one the void one? I thought the season of the haunted one was.
No, the Dares of Eternity one specifically I think is void. I would have to double check, but I'm pretty sure it's void. 'Cause it, yeah. All right.
Either way, more explosions would be good.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it for here. Everything else is kind of minor, correct?
The only other thing that they listed in here is they're going to be taking a look at some other weapons and working on Zoom. There has been some mentions that they may be trying to make certain weapon types all have the same range, such as like pulse rifles, auto rifles, and hand cannons all being roughly around the same range before they start having fall off.
I mean, as much as I want to agree with that, the issue is that then you start having specific guns outperforming the others. I mean, a great example
Yep.
is 120 hand cannons. 120 and 140 hand cannons would absolutely fucking dominate.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah. But
And they're
overall,
also fixing all the sparrows.
yes, I saw that, and I saw that on Twitter. Where was that? That they
It's at
put
the
that.
very bottom
In
of.
the more distant future, we're working on an update to Sparrows that will allow players to use their favorites instead of always on time. So basically, transmog.
What I think they're gonna do is they're actually just going to make the other sparrows go as fast as always on time.
I think that they should just have a transmog. Because, I'm gonna be honest, I hate having to fucking clear out space to swap out Sparrows all the time.
It's like just make them all the same speed. Just make them fast. That's it.
The only issue is that then what's the point of having always on time and then spending spoils of conquest on it?
Because always on time is the only sparrow that reduces the enemy aggression. They are less likely to shoot at you while you're on that.
Is that really the only
Yep.
Sparrow though?
That is the only sparrow that has that.
Huh. I thought there was another Sparrow that had it, but I guess I must be tripping.
Aside from the fact that it is just ridiculously faster than every other sparrow in the game, it
Oh,
also
yeah,
has less aggression while you're on it.
Interesting. Alright. Well, at least it'll still have something.
Yeah, and there's also some hints flying around that they may be hitting Le Monarch next season and nerfing the fuck out of its damage over time.
Yeah, I feel like that's more of a PvP change than a PvE change.
Is because
PvP, it is disgusting.
if anyone has played PvP over the past like few seasons, you have probably been killed by Le Monarch more than 100 times. It's pretty disgusting, and it can in fact one and or two tap in some cases. It's kind of gross.
Yeah. You know who will be sad though? Danny? Our buddy Buddha.
I mean, it'll be a PvP
who is
change.
a La Monarch enjoyer. Now, to be fair though, for those of you watching from home, we have talked about Buddha before, Raging Buddha. He's a buddy of myself and Danny's, who normally is our third when we actually do dungeons on our streams sometimes. Buddha is a bow enjoyer, which I full on respect. He has all of the bows. Well, at least for the most part, has all the bows. And has still yet to receive Monarch's Catalyst. And I know damn well, Danny, that we're gonna have to break it to him that Le Monarch may be getting nerfed.
Well, at least it's a PvP nerf.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Buddha doesn't really play PvP, so here's my thing, is they need to nerf the PvP damage. If they keep the PvE damage, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with PvE damage, but I do agree with you. Getting headshot by Le Monarch and then just getting delayed killed because of the fucking dot, fucking sucks.
Because, like, unless you have, like, a healing rift or some way to give yourself an overshield, you're just gonna die. You can't avoid it.
Yeah, that shit sucks.
Doesn't take a whole lot. Even without a headshot, it doesn't take a whole lot for Le Monarch to just ruin your engagement.
Yeah, it's like 1 to the head, 2 to the body, right? There's the normal kill shots.
Because if you get hit with that poison, you're just done.
Yeah, it is not a fun time.
And if they're running the gross hand cannon bow combo, they just quick swap over to a hand cannon, you're dead.
Yeah. Along with that, we are going to move on to the abilities and the ability tunings for more fragment slots for several aspects, which we did go over, did we not?
Yep, and the buffs for the supers, which all sound pretty okay.
Yes, but please, for the love of God, Bungie, do something about fucking Warlock Daybreak. That shit is garbage.
Dawnblade it needs a big damage buff.
It is so fucking buns. Like, I get it. Bungie is afraid to buff it, because then it's going to get spammed in PvP. I get it. I understand. You know how to fix that? Make it PvE.
Yeah, just, like, they're starting to do more PvE buffs.
Like,
and separate PvP, so...
Please, for the love of God, Bungo, if someone from Bungie watches my videos, please buff Warlock Daybreak. It is so fucking bad. Like, I will forgive you for neutering, and I mean neutering Chaos Reach, Tickle Fingers, and Geomags. I will forgive you for absolutely demolishing Skull of Ahamkara. I will forgive you for fucking up our goddamn solar grenade so I can't charge it to throw a heal if I want. If you just buff fucking PvE Daybreak. Oh my god, it is so ass.
I still am so beside myself that they're buffing Nova Bomb by another 20%.
Which still blows my mind, because it's like one of the best supers that Warlocks have!
Like, they're buffing that by 20% and giving Chaos Reach Jolt, which, that's kind of wild. But, like, even Nova Warp's eating good with these updates.
Yeah, I just really wish that Nova Warp had more exotics than Astrocyte Verse.
I don't remember if it does.
So, Astrocyte Verse, basically what it does is it makes your blinks faster.
You recharge blink faster, I think you get 2 charges and more distance.
Yeah, that's all it does. It just helps you blink. That's all it does. It doesn't. It's in theory, it is technically a damage buff because you can blink twice onto someone. The issue is the blink in PvP does no fucking damage.
Yeah, because they murdered that after like 2 weeks.
Why does All right, Danny, hear me out on this. While we're talking about abilities, why does every fucking Warlock roaming super suck ass?
It's like
Like,
they're afraid of roaming supers on like everything except primarily Titan.
which arguably is one of the issues.
Yes, the Titan roaming supers kind of dominate anything PvP related,
Hammer of
followed by
Soul is
Hunters.
so fucking bullshit.
The Fist of Havoc used to be the absolute worst nightmare for anyone in PvP because they could activate it, wipe your team, then proceed to wipe your team a second time before it ran out. It was genuinely not fair, and that lasted for damn near a year.
Yeah. And fun fact, Danny, while I was playing Supremacy for Guardian games, um,
Yeah.
I want you to, I just want you to take a guess on how many times I got killed by Arc Staff.
By arc staff, like an actual arc staff, or the projectile one?
Uh, the one that twirls. I don't play Hunter.
People are actually using the non-projectile arc staff.
Yes, in a singular
Huh.
match, I was killed by it 10 times.
Huh.
Across the entirety of when I was playing Supremacy the other day, I died to it a total of 25 times.
I'm actually surprised people are using that instead of like the multi-shot golden gun or blades,
Um,
because blades are still probably the easiest to use.
so here's my theory is that because the reason why a lot of people are using base arc staff and not the multi-shot is because Bungie has been trying to do their best to promote more gunplay, which is what arc staff wants. Because arc staff wants for you to fire your gun, not for you to use abilities.
It still makes me laugh every time I see it. Because there is one rule: if you see someone twirling an arc staff, don't shoot it. That's all you gotta do. Just don't shoot it,
Yeah,
and it
I
will run
think
out
and I
really fast.
yeah, and I think people just forget that. Well, also the fact of I don't know. Maybe it seemed like it to me. Maybe I'm just a bad PvP player, which is not is not probably far off. But does Arcstaff have a dash, or do they get like increased movement
Um,
speed?
if they melee or are like, oh, what's the arc flavor text thing? Amplified. If they're amplified, they move a little bit faster, but
Yeah, because I remember getting zip lined from like across the fucking map. I saw just while I'm playing Supremacy, I just see an arc staff just bounce between warlocks and eventually get to me spawning and then immediately get nuked through my respawn shield.
that definitely sounds like a combination of spamming the melee button and possibly the server being ass,
Yes.
which is not unlikely because
Just unfun.
De- Destiny's connections are questionable at times when it comes to PvP.
Yeah. But before we make this an hour long, let's go ahead and move on. Exotic armor tuning. We saw a lot of exotic armor pieces get changed, get some buffs.
Shit.
A couple of them got some nerfs, and most definitely well-deserved nerfs.
And like everyone knew the nerfs were coming to those exotics because when over half the player base is using them in specific activities, they're gonna get looked at pretty closely.
Along with that, oh, continue.
Like Stompies, we knew that nerf was coming for a long time because way too many people use them in PvP.
That's your fault,
And-
Hunters. You should have
and-
stopped using it.
And Starfire was basically just being exploited because it was giving a lot of grenade energy back for just doing damage with grenades.
Yeah.
So that nerf we knew was coming as well, because when every warlock you see is running that and saying "Fashion game be damned," if something's wrong.
And it doesn't actually look that bad. Now, if they could just fix the fucking helmets.
And the best part is, after Starfire's been nerfed, you know there's an ornament coming for it.
Yup. I know it. I know it. And you know what, Danny? I'm gonna fucking buy it.
It'll probably be great, actually.
I'm hoping so. Now, if they could just give a fucking, ornament to, like, all of the Warlock helmets that aren't fucking butt cheeks. Like,
Yeah,
Nezarec Extend just looks like a fucking block of cobblestone. It is so fucking ass.
and it's still probably one of the best neutral exotics in the game.
Nezarec Sin?
Across all characters, yeah, because
No,
it just
Nezarec Sin
requires
is
void
void
damage.
based.
Yeah, well, you can use it on any subclass. It's not tied to the void subclass. You just have to do void damage to get.
Yeah, so you can just run a
energy.
void gun, but it does a lot better with void abilities. Um,
It's really, really good.
it's really I'm genuinely surprised that it didn't get a nerf. Don't fucking nerf
Yeah.
it, Bungie. I will.
Buff
No.
Skull. Rebuff Skull, please.
For the love of God, rebuff Skull. For the love of God. Even if it's only a PvE buff. I'll take a PvE buff to Skull. Now, quality of life improvements, and some of these we saw earlier, and I'm really glad to see these. We are getting new Vanguard bounties. Thank the Lord we are not going to have to do the same goddamn bullshit bounties every fucking day. Oh my god, they're so boring. Finest Matterweave and Rainmaker can now be consumed to earn the associated material, which is really good. So if you've got a bunch of Matterweaves and Rainmakers left in your inventory like I do, I have like 50 of each, you can just get a bunch of enhancement cores and a shit ton of glitter.
I have
Glimmer.
too many.
A lot, I'm going to assume. Good Boy Protocol's coming back to the tower. The goodest boy. And then certain triumphs now boost the raid exotic drop rate in The Last Wish, Deepstone Crypt, Vow of the Disciple, Vault of Glass, and King's Fall. And the best part, if you've already done all of them, it is now retroactive. So
Pretty good.
that means you don't have to do them again. Now, I don't know if they have stated this, but you may need to reclaim it. Did they state anything about that, Danny?
I don't think they have, because if they're retroactive, they're probably just gonna auto claim.
Auto claim,
Right.
and then next time you go in, you'll just have a much higher chance. So that is good
Yeah.
to know. So that means, and I'm really glad that Bungie's finally going on this approach of taking a bunch of raid exotics and actually putting them on a what I like to call the gotcha line, or what we
Luck
call
prevention.
yeah. What we like to call pity rolling, which is if you haven't gotten it, every time you complete a raid, it will up your chance. And every time you don't get it, it will continue to up your chance until it hits 100%. And eventually, you'll get it. Now, once you get it, that's a different story. If you delete it, that's your own fucking fault. Now, oh, you were
It's
saying?
the Destiny. You can just pull it out of collection.
This is also true. Along with that, Crucible updates. The Flawless pool is now being replaced by the new Practice pool and Challenger pool. We discussed that in the PvP segment a while back. I believe it was like 3 weeks ago, I think, that we did that.
May the 4th.
May the 4th. Okay, so yeah, so... No, actually, no, that was only about 2 weeks ago. And you guys have already heard our thoughts about it, but again, Trials will not be enjoyable until they fix the Flawless system to where if you have someone who has already been Flawless on a team at least once that season, you just can't go Flawless. Like, you can't just pub stomp people who have never been Flawless. I'm sorry, that's just too much of a giant pain in the dick for people who are still trying to get the Triumph after 5 goddamn fucking years.
I do like that they're not encouraging people who have already been flawless to go back in with people that haven't been flawless and like carry them to the lighthouse.
Yes,
to,
because that Triumph is
gild
no
their
longer
title
required for the title.
Yep.
Thank God.
Gilding now requires to use specific things in your loadout and have a specific emblem equipped.
Which I'm fine with. I think that's a lot more. That makes a lot more sense because it's a lot more challenging in my position. Like, when you really think about that, that's actually a lot more, like, that shows, like, if you get the flawless title now,
Yeah, like
way more respect.
yeah, if you get that gilded, congratulations, you worked your ass off to get that.
Yeah, because that is not an easy, because it's not going to be an easy guild. If you do it, applaud to you. But for those of you that already have it gilded, fuck you. Along with that, there's a new trials quest for new players. Don't do it. Don't go into trials. Just don't. You will hate your life. Don't do it. Some trials passages have been adjusted to provide a better experience. I believe that was Mercy and one other. Basically, what Mercy is that it will forgive you for one loss. It will now forgive you for 2 losses.
Yeah, I think the other one was ferocity.
Yeah. Which, to be
This
honest,
gives you more reputation.
yeah. Which again, I think both of the changes are fine. Ferocity gives you now way more reputation, right?
Yep, which I will probably be using that like I had been because more
Yeah.
reputation, more rewards.
Yeah, and chances are, Danny, you and I will still not be going flawless until they fix the flawless pool.
Unless I have somebody carry me to the lighthouse, I doubt that's gonna happen.
Yeah. But to be honest, I am actually a really big fan of the Mercy change. I think the 2 loss prevention instead of the 1 loss prevention is a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Because it gives you the chance to rebound, right? Because it's like,
Yeah.
okay, it's like, hey, we're in trials, we're on like win number 6, right? We just lost the 7th game. Okay, this is it. Like, we have to win here, otherwise there's just no point to play anymore, right? Whereas with the new Mercy, okay, we have time to like sit for a minute, rethink our strategies, try out a new strategy for the next round. And if that doesn't work, that's fine because that loss is also forgiven. It provides better gameplay overall and especially between players as a whole.
And more chances to actually go flawless.
Yes. Unless you're like me and Danny who take 15 L's to the face.
That's just unfortunate matchmaking.
15
Really
L's!
bad.
And 10 of them went to the lighthouse! On game 5! What the fuck,
Yeah.
Bungie? Bullshit! Along with that, Elimination is now out, and Dominion will be the new core game mode for Trials. And that is basically just, it's capture the point, isn't it?
Yep, it's like the point will spawn at a certain point during the game, and you either have to capture it or prevent the other team from capturing it, or you lose.
Right. And if you do go into Trials, I'm going to tell you right now, unless you're a Bubble Titan, you're not going to have fun. Because that's all it is.
It's going to be a lot of bubbles.
Yeah. Along with that, we did see the Gilding of the Flawless Seal has gotten the new requirements as we talked about earlier, which again, both Danny and I kind of agree. No longer having to carry someone to the White House feels great. Now just fix the fucking Flawless system.
Yep.
Along with that, we got the 3 new outstanding aspects, which we talked about previously a couple weeks back.
And they actually have video previews of all of them. They're like, I think maybe 10, 11 seconds each.
Yeah. But to refresh your memory, Hunter Threaded Spectre. You will activate your class ability to leave behind a decoy woven from strand matter that draws the attention of nearby combatants. After taking significant damage, or when combatants approach, the decoy detonates, dealing damage and releasing threadlings that seek out and attack nearby foes. Honestly, really fits the Hunter's kind of shtick, so kind of down for it.
It seems interesting. I don't know if I'll actually swap what I currently have for it, though.
I think based on what we see for the damage-wise, I think we'll definitely have to do some number testing. Titans, Flechette Storm. While sliding, you will activate your charged melee ability to leap into the air, knocking nearby targets away and dealing damage. While airborne, if you activate your charged melee again to launch a cluster of damaging, unraveling projectiles. Repeatedly activating melee will chain additional throws, which is super dope. And it
This
gives...
looks really strong.
Yeah, I'm afraid of what's going to be in PvP. And then, if I'm going to be honest, I think Warlock's got the shaft again. Tangles you throw attached enemies and detonate into a suspending burst. Threadling final blows create a tangle.
It's definitely 100% PvE.
Yeah,
That's what I'm feeling about that, because you're not making a tangle super easily in PvP.
Yeah, so unless you use, the suspending grenade and shit like that, which
It
there's no
does.
point.
It does give you an extra suspend source, which, if you're running like an infinite suspend build, could be fun.
Yeah, but I don't see it really being viable in PvP. It would mostly be PvE.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting, but not like, wow.
Giga broken, right?
Yeah.
I also hear my puppers. You can see her chat. She's looking. Hold on. She wants to go get water. Give me a sec, Danny. I'm gonna let her go get water. There you go. She slides down my blanket because she is panting. So clearly she needed water. Along with that, we are seeing a brand new change to the seasonal artifact. The refundable artifact is almost here. And they have basically gone over every single column. And you can now individually refund points from the artifact.
I'm ready for this, because I have been wanting to just change one thing out, and having to reset the entire thing it's not super great, it's not terrible, but it's inconvenient.
Yes. And I am glad that we're actually seeing in column 1, we're actually seeing special ammo as the champion mods.
Yep, one of my favorites is back, being the Unstoppable Glaive.
See, you look at Unstoppable Glaive. I'm looking at Unstoppable Hand Cannon. Because, in my opinion, I think Hand Cannon is just... Because it's so easy to acquire a primary kinetic hand cannon.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many good options. I mean, you've got Austringer, which is craftable. You have Dire Promise from Season of Arrivals. You have fucking... Well, actually, no. Forerunners a sidearm, but it's basically a hand cannon. Like, you have plenty of options for hand cannon-wise. I mean, these are all great. I think these are all great. The only one that I'm not a complete fan of is Overload Scout Rifle.
Yeah, Scout Rifles are always kind of weird to have that on.
Yeah, Overload to me doesn't make sense. The other interesting thing to note is normally they bundle Auto Rifle and SMG together. They didn't do that for the next season. It's only Anti-Barrier Auto Rifle.
Which is very interesting.
Puppers, come here. No. Puppers, come... Dog. No, come here. Why am I talking to you? You can't hear me. Come here, babies. Come here. No. I'll take you out after I record. I'm sorry for those of you watching YouTube. I'm not gonna have Cryptic edit this out because I'm just gonna upload it as it is. So y'all will get to see Puppers. So here's Puppers. I know you can't really see her that well, but if you know what? This is a great point for me to interact with the comments. So if you have watched to this point in the video, I want you to type good girl. Just the words good girl, so that way Fiora knows that she has been a very good girl and a very good puppers. As she is leaning into my handle, I am scratching her ear. Dog, you're going to fall off the bed. So yes, if you get to this point of the video, type in "good girl" into the comments below, and I'll know exactly where you're at in the video. But here we go. All right. So column 1, Anti-Barrier Auto Rifle, Unstoppable Hand Cannon. We can agree, both solid.
Yeah.
Overload Scout Rifle. I'm never a fan of Overload Scout. I think Anti-Barrier Scout or Unstoppable Scout.
Those would be better.
Yeah, Overload tends to be a lot better for rapidly firing guns, where if you look at the next one right below it, Overload Trace Rifle comes in. And
also,
woo, Aegir Scepter's getting dusted off, Danny.
It's like I always have like a conflicting feeling about Overload Trace Rifle because Divinity has it baked in.
Yes, I do get that, and I definitely understand it. However, to me, it does make a lot of sense
Yeah.
overall, just because Unstoppable feels really bad on it because it's really
Yeah.
when you pull because trace rifles have so much ammo that you can just line fire it, just sit there and just unload into a target. Um, so in theory, you could do anti-barrier as well, but I don't know. I've always been a fan of overload trace rifles. And then, obviously, one of your personal favorites, Danny, Unstoppable Glaive.
Yep.
And the fact that it's not in column 3 or 4 is pretty baller.
Yep. And the reason why I love Unstoppable Glaive so much is because you don't have to aim down sights for a few seconds to activate it. It's just active all the time.
Which is great. Because if you aim down sights, you're technically using shield charge, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah, which is normally not a good thing.
So being able to just quick swap to a glaive, fire a projectile at something, and or melee it and insta stun it is pretty nice.
Yeah, and we are actually going to see a couple mods swap up for column 2. So this season, or this past season, it was Solar, Void, and Strand. It is now Arc, Void, and Strand. And I'm going to be real with you here, Danny. I'm not taking the Arc.
I might.
It's.
Be...
I think for Titans and Hunters, it's so much more value. But on Warlocks,
I want to mess around with the new Chaos Reach.
Yeah, I mean, yes. At the same point in time, though, Arc Warlock is not the same as it used to be. It's just, I wish it was better. But they keep nerfing it into the fucking dirt.
Also, it seems like they're really leaning into Arc this season.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing that Siphon mod.
Yeah. The 5 total mods are the authorized mods Arc, Void, Strand, and Melee. Basically, for the subclass ones, if you have it, the mods affecting all of the the Arc, Void, and Strand weapons are significantly discounted. Melee,
Yep.
All armor mods affecting your melee are also significantly discounted. And for those of you wondering what the numbers are looking like for those, basically, if any of the mods count for like 3, it just goes down to 1 cost. So if you've got some Artifice armor, you're chilling.
It's a lot of mods.
It's a lot of mods. So much so that it won't pull up if you just hover over it. I found this out this season. Because some of my mods didn't want to show up because it overloaded the screen. And then the Siphon for this season is going to be for the helmet, and it's going to be Strand Siphon and Arc Siphon. So there you go. Which, to be fair, now that I think about it, Danny, taking electricity into the bottom of the ocean probably normally isn't a good idea.
But seems like we're gonna be doing that.
Yes, indeed. Now in column 3, we are going to get some really interesting ones. We're getting improved unraveling. It increases the amount of damage dealt by unraveling a target. You're also going to get another deeper origins one. And this is going to be really interesting because we're getting increased benefits provided by Unsated Hunger, Nanotech Tracer Rockets, Harmonic Resonance, and Noble Deeds traits. So, pretty solid.
Your seasonal origin trait, Unsated Hunger.
Yeah, that's one.
That's gonna be this season. Coming up.
Oh yeah. Under the Breach, defeating a Void debuffed targets creates a Void Breach while your Void subclass is equipped. Pretty solid. I'm all for it. Electric Armor. You stay amplified longer while your Arc subclass is equipped. Pretty good. Like, the longer it's available, the longer it's on, the more energy you get back.
This
and
is
the longer you can run.
to me. Thunderous Retort in column 3.
Yes, grants bonus arc super damage if cast while critically wounded or amplified, and it lasts until the end of the super activation. So they're actually enticing you to actually, to Thunder Crash, to Chaos Reach. and actually use, well, no, what is it? Fists of Havoc? Fists of Havoc, Arc Staff, right? Chaos Reach, and actually use all of your super.
Yep. And this has always been a column 4 mod. So seeing it in column 3 is really interesting.
Yeah, because that means that normally we're going to get something new in column 4, which we're going to get Strand Soldier as the first one. Your Strand weapons gain Unraveling rounds whenever you gain Woven Mail, while your Strand subclass is equipped. We have that this season. It's pretty solid. If you're running a Strand subclass, please fucking use this. Overcharged Armory. Weapons with the Unsated Hunger, Nanotech Tracer Rockets, Harmonic Resonance, and Noble D traits are always overcharged weapons for you when that modifier is active. You can start to see where the bonuses are coming in.
Yep.
Protective Breach. Picking up a Void Breach gives you an overshield or refreshes your existing shield. Counter Charge. Gain a stack of armor charge when you stun a champion. Pretty good. Like, that's really solid. The one that I'm really interested, though, that I'm low-key also terrified about, is Amped Up. Gain damage resistance while amplified.
Art is definitely being pushed this next season.
Yeah, I'm terrified of, because here's my issue, Danny. I already saw what Fists of Havoc do in PvP during Supremacy.
Yep.
I'm not a fan of this. PvE, throw it in. Throw it in for PvE. Fucking send it. But PvP? Hell no. No. Don't do this.
The best part is column 5 has me very interested in trying out Arc.
So let's take a look at it. Column 5, Conductive Cosmic Needle. And this is where a lot of the other mods and why some of this starts to make sense. Targets affected by strand debuffs take increased damage from Arc and Void abilities. And for those of you that don't know, if you take the Unraveling rounds for strand weapons, which are normally in your primary slot, you can run an Arc and Void subclass and use Arc and Void weapons in your energy slot. So you can proc it by yourself if you have enough mod slots.
Yup. Good synergy.
Shock and Awe. Arc final blows while you are amplified. Summon a burst of lightning that damages and jolts targets. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, they're making Arc really strong.
Yeah.
This season.
However, as a Void Warlock myself, I like this next one. Supernova. Picking up a Void Breach causes your next source of Void damage to create a large weakening pulse. And I want that word to be very, very important. A pulse.
Yep.
That means that it is a area of effect weaken. That is
Winter's Helm.
Very important, yes.
Literally
Champions ain't doing dick to you. And then we've got squad goals, which is very interesting to see. Basically, when you are performing a finisher while you have one of 3 things happening, you get bonuses. So, performing a finisher while you are amplified grants amplified to nearby allies when your Arc subclass is equipped. Performing a finisher while you have Woven Mail grants Woven Mail to nearby allies when your Strand subclass is equipped. And performing a finisher while you have Devour grants Devour to nearby allies when your Void subclass is equipped. That's
a fun one.
Sounds so much fun, Danny. I cannot tell you how much fun I'm going to have with that.
That's a really fun one.
And then we're going to get Lightning Strikes twice. After throwing an Arc Grenade, gain increased grenade recharge for a short time. Arc Final Blows extend the duration of this benefit. I'm seeing a very, very, very short list of exotics that I may or may not be spamming.
Arc Pulse Grenades. Arc Pulse Grenades.
What's the generic warlock piece that just gives you a second grenade?
I'm trying to remember
Because they've got one for void, they've
because
got one for solar.
honestly,
I don't think they have one for arc, but my dumbass might also just be forgetting. I haven't gone through my vault in a
honestly,
while.
Crown of Tempest might be really, really ridiculous.
Crown of Tempest, the other one that I could also see would probably be Geomags making a comeback.
Yep.
Geomags just because basically if you're in the last quarter bar,
Yeah, if you sprint, it'll just recharge it faster.
yeah, which chances are there's a lot of dungeons and a lot of raids and an absolute giga fuck ton of strikes that have just a lot of sections where you're just moving, like you're just running. So if you can get it there, you're pretty much chilling. So overall, really fun seasonal artifact mods. Now, we are getting into something brand new. We are now changing how enemy shields look. Now, as much as I want to, I cannot show the video. Now, it is not changing how they work. It is just a visual only change. That is something very apparent that they wanted to state.
Which
So
I agree with what they mention here.
yeah, so basically, if you take a look here, this is the current Minotaur Void Shield. It's kind of got the barrier, the cylinder barrier around it. And if you look here, this Minotaur is going Super Saiyan.
And from the way that they worded this, they're going to change basically all shielded enemies to kind of have a similar shield design in order to cut down on the amount of resources they have to dump into making different shields for the different enemies, which means more consistency with how shields work and less clutter in the game.
Yeah. Now I have seen video. I have seen this video, and you know, I don't know if you think a little bit different, Danny, but I saw the video, and I'm gonna assume that it's probably a work in progress, but the shields look very, very 2D to me,
They
and
do,
and they look very, what's the word I'm thinking of? Unimpressive.
which I don't mind if it means the game is going to run better.
I mean, that is, I think that's also a fair statement.
Because consistency has become quite a big issue over the past year.
Yeah, for the most part. So it is nice to see some changes, and I think they're also kind of doing this to kind of experiment with the community. And oh my God, puppers, stop it, stop.
Which,
So we will see what's going on.
yeah,
Because I think they want to kind of test and gauge the community's thoughts about it and kind of go from there. I hope that this is not the final product. I hope there's a little bit more to this, but because I'm gonna be straight up honest, uh, did you ever play the 2D side scroller Mega Man games, Danny?
I did not, but I have seen them.
Okay, if you get a chance, it just looks like the boss is Overshield.
I could see that. It kind of does.
Yeah. So haven't been. So I really hope that there's at least a little bit more effort put into it, other than that, because those games are like 64-bit. I would like to see a little bit more than 64-bit, but you know how it is. Stabilizing, and Danny, I'm gonna kind of let you handle this one because there's a lot going on here.
Yeah, so basically, the TLDR for this whole thing is the engineering team at Bungie has basically been doing a lot of stuff in the background, which I'm sure a lot of people have noticed that the game has had to be taken offline a bit more. That's because they're trying to set up more of a framework so that they have less of those issues after an update. They basically want to have the major framework of the game be stable. So if it means they have to take the game offline for 1.5 to 2 hours every update, to make sure that the update has no issues after it goes live, I think that's okay. Overall, they just want to make updates more consistent and prevent things like, for instance, the world's first vow from happening again. They don't want a repeat of the buggy server absolute imploding mess that was that raid race. And they mentioned that the Root of Nightmares World's First Race was their major test of this framework, and
it went well.
It went very well.
So good on you guys. Good on you, Bungie. Yeah.
Hopefully that also means that the consistency in the game goes through the roof.
Agreed. Along with that, Guardian games are coming to an end in the current standings, and I believe the announcement went out today. But first place was Titans, second place was Hunters, and third place was Warlocks. Hunters Titans just won. Titans won. Was the official second place Hunters?
I believe so.
Hunters just could not let it go. Just couldn't let Warlocks have second place for one.
There's just too many Hunters playing. There really is just not enough Warlocks.
If Bungie didn't stop nerfing my fucking, class into the goddamn ground, maybe Warlocks would have a lot more fun.
Just bring back self-res. There you go. Warlocks are back. That's all you gotta do.
Yes!
Give us that D1 nostalgia. Bring back self-res so we can go solo Braid Boss.
True. Along with that, the top 4 teams that raised money for the Bungie Foundation was Developers in first place. Second place was Lost City Guardians. Third place was Metagalactic Boomers. And fourth place was Clan Archive. For the top 4 teams that point scored, first place was Popcorn. Second place was Ursa Day. Third place was Traveler's Chosen. And fourth place was Prayer. And now, along with that, introducing Asians at Bungie. May is Asian American and Native Hawaiian/Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and we're proud to introduce the Asians at Bungie. Asians at Bungie began at the end of 2021 in response to the rising discrimination and violence against ANHPI communities. I apologize, this is a long mouthful. Their mission is to uplift their fellow employees, provide Bungie diverse insight of the cultures, and to support local communities. After many rounds of discussing creative directions, revising designs, and generous support from internal inclusion, diversity, and equity, and consumer product teams, they're ready to debut the Stand With Asians pin and accompanying Harmonic Waves emblem. And I think that this is super fucking dope.
That pin also looks fantastic.
1,000%. Along with that, very just simplistic oriental design, and honestly I love it. It's a great dog.
It's a good looking emblem.
Stop it. My dog is trying to leap off the bed. You should not leap off the bed. You are 15 years old, dog. Jesus. I'm sorry, chat. Puppers is trying to launch herself to the water bowl. Which is in the corner of the room. So, but yeah, no, I love this design. I think it's great. I love the flower and the classic clouds is a nice touch. It's super simple, but it definitely, gives it it gives it the stamp, right? So, and I'll just go over where the donations and stuff. For the month of May, all proceeds from the Stand With Asians pin will go to the International Community Health Services, or the ICHS, a nonprofit healthcare organization based in Seattle that welcomes people of all backgrounds in need of care. Along with that, they'll be celebrating their 50th anniversary after they were formed in 1973. And Bungie Foundation just doing what Bungie Foundation does best. Just supporting the community. Say what you will about Bungie's gameplay, developing and shit. They're all about the community, and it's hard for me to disagree. Always respect it. Respect the hustle. Along with that, a new emblem for gifting Twitch subs. So I kind of have slightly mixed feelings about this, Danny.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know if you know about Overwatch issues sometimes, but Overwatch had a similar thing that happened, and players were pissed. Basically, Overwatch kind of did one of the same things, which was if you donated money or subbed to a streamer that was with a particular team of some kind, you got a skin. And people were pissed because they were like, the money should go to should go to not Bungie, should go to Blizzard. Whereas content creators were like, we would also like the money, please and thank you. So I'm kind of 50-50 on it. It's cool that they're willing, that they're taking a look at it and giving you a reason to also just continue to support your favorite content creators. But I know some people have kind of issues with it.
Like, if I remember correctly how Bungie does it, it's anyone that has the drops enabled thing, and
Yeah.
or like the integrated Bungie extension for Twitch. So you gift 2 subs on that channel, congratulations, you have an emblem.
Yeah. So there you go.
I think it's a better approach than the way that Blizzard did.
Yeah. Along with that, player support report. I bring less of a Kingslayer and more of a Starbaker energy to raids. Patch language change, just updating some language stuff. All the last stuff. Last chance Bungie rewards. Pick your shit up!
Yep.
Previous season pass and vendor rewards. Use your fucking engrams. Don't know how many times I have to say it. Use it. Moving on.
Yep.
We only have one known issue this week. Do you see this list, Danny? One fucking issue.
Yeah.
The Guardian Games
That's
title. Yeah, the Guardian Games title, Champ, does not progress Guardian rank objectives for earning titles.
So yeah, you remember how last week this was like a couple paragraphs?
They fixed it all.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, also. Well, yeah, and also Guardian Games technically ends on what, Tuesday, right? When the season goes off.
Yeah, considering it, Guardian Games was a little bit of those.
Yeah, now to be fair, Guardian
Oh,
Games
my.
is still technically going until Tuesday's reset. If you are watching this, the day this comes out.
The fact that they got basically all of those outstanding issues taken care of,
In a week,
that's pretty solid.
Bungie's team doing their best to fix shit. Now, if they could only just fix goddamn Telesto.
Now the question is, what is this list going to look like after Tuesday?
Oh, I don't want to think about it, Danny.
Here's the thing, you always like set the expectations fairly low when you come in thinking about, oh yeah, it's a new season, super hype. Get ready for all the things they're going to break, because if they yeah, if they don't break anything, then that's a positive and you're extra excited. They will break something though. Something will break.
Yeah.
Probably the servers.
100%. Now, if you're like me, don't log on Tuesday. Don't log in. Just don't. Instead,
Just wait.
avoid spoilers and log in on Wednesday or Thursday.
Yep.
Because chances are, the campaign missions that will be available, because it is technically a continuation of Lightfall and the seasonal story for Season of the Deep. Try to avoid spoilers. Don't look at Twitter. For the love of God, do not fucking look at Twitter.
Basically, don't pay attention to anything Destiny related for the next, few weeks.
Stay off of YouTube and Twitch, unless you're watching our
Especially
podcast.
YouTube. Don't watch Destiny stuff if you don't want spoilers for, the next, 2 weeks.
Yeah, pretty much. But try
After
to log
2
in
weeks,
to
though-
a couple days after,
Yeah.
the servers come online.
After 2 weeks, though, it's on you if you see any spoilers and you haven't done it yet.
Yeah, pretty much. Now, moving on. Back to movie of the week. We've got Shinrei, all dungeons, solo flawless, back to back on all 3 characters, back to back.
That's absurd.
This is some Giga Brain, and I mean Giga Brain 5-head shit that they pulled.
I was like,
I've seen clips.
Duality?
I haven't seen the full video of this. I've seen snippets of it.
yeah.
The fucking shit they pulled to get out and get away with it, absolutely fucking mind-boggling. Absolutely fucking nuts.
Duality and Spyro the Watcher are flawless killers. They have
Not fun. They are not fun to do.
bosses.
They're awful to do solo. They're even worse to try and do flawless.
Yeah. The bosses there are really not forgiving.
Yeah. So the fact that this happened, pretty pog.
Yeah, pretty good job there.
And Danny, we're at the Artist of the Week, and you see the title name, and you know I have to say it.
Yep.
Under the sea, under the sea. For those of you that are Disney fans, you'll know. Please don't sue me, Disney. We have Kilo, or known as Kuri Kusuri. I hope I pronounced that name right. I apologize. I thought Guardians can't swim. And it's exactly what we said last week. Guardians in the bottom of Titan. And then Guardians in Grasp of Avarice.
It's pretty funny.
It's good. It's so good. Also, I love like the fact that it looks like that it was sewn. Or that it looks like it's like
it's a really
drawn
cute
on.
art style.
Yeah, it's the little cute chibi art style. Like also, Danny, how many times you see that bottom picture? How many times have you seen me do that in Grasp of Avarice? Because we used to run it religiously.
If you touch just a little bit of the water, you die instantaneously.
You have been killed by the architect.
Yep. Because there's always one of those engrams
that's
that
in
will
the
drop.
goddamn water.
It'll drop right on the edge of the water, and if you go to pick it up, you step in the water and die.
Oh, man.
It's always a trap. It's always a trap.
It's a fucking trap. You know what, Danny? That's a fucking thing that I want from a new set of boots. Is I want a new set of arc boots for Warlock that while you're amplified, you can run on water.
Be nice. I feel like that's more of a stasis thing, though.
Close enough. It'll be fine. I think it'd be fun. And then we've got Psycho Lumaka with the La Monarch tattoo inspiration, and it is a compound bow La Monarch with butterfly wings. Enjoy that tattoo while it lasts, because La Monarch will not. I'm sorry.
Probably will get nerfed.
I love the tattoo.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Like,
Love
that's
the tattoo
beautiful line work.
Absolutely, and I love the shading on it. I hate La Monarch in PvP. Just putting that out there. And we actually have a third one this week. We got Monoceros 3D, Drifter watching the Season of the Deep trailer and seeing another alien creature he can cook.
Love that one.
Danny, this may be the one time I get to use this on the video in a video, and I have to say it. Hold up. Let him cook.
I love the fact that someone took the time to edit Drifter in a goddamn Yakuza meme.
Smoking a cigarette, looking at a phone. Oh my god.
It's so good.
That's so fucking good. Oh my god. That is amazing. I love that so much. Holy shit, that is great.
Beautiful.
And this was brought to you by BR1, also known probably as Brie. So, With that being said, we have come to the end of the TWAB. So overall, really solid stuff. And this is the last TWAB before Season of the Deep launches. So, Danny, what's your favorite part about this?
I am very, very excited about both the exotic changes because they gave some armor pieces a lot of love, some a little bit of love, and they made some exotic weapons usable. I'm intrigued.
Wholeheartedly agree. I am actually a really big fan of the seasonal artifact mods. I think them branching out to the arc and really, really forcing people to be like, and this is kind of a double-edged sword. On one hand, I hate Arc Warlock. I hate it with a fucking passion. But the seasonal mods legitimately may make me actually want to play Arc Warlock because they look very strong.
Yep.
So I'll be very enticed to see what everything happens with. But yeah, with that being said, Danny, where can they find you?
Find me on YouTube and Twitch under the same name.
You can also find me on Twitch and YouTube at DominiFox or on Twitter at DominiFox1. As you can see, my puppers is licking my pillow. I've given up with this dog. She's 15. She's deaf. I'm just gonna let her live her best life. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for stopping by. We both really appreciate everybody coming here. We both hope that you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, don't be a sweat lord. We'll see you guys next time.